Hi friends, this is Bakappa. Welcome to JavaScript tutorial full course. You can find all the exercise which we have done in the JavaScript tutorial full course. You can simply go to the google.com and search for the Bakappa in GitHub. Go to the my GitHub page and here over repositories, you can simply search for the JavaScript tutorial full course. So in the first two folders, you'll be seeing all the examples which we have discussed in the VS Code, and you will be finding another text file. So in that text file, it contains all the examples which we have discussed in the terminal and as well as in the web browser console. Hi friends, this is Bakappa. So far you have seen how to get started with the JavaScript and how to use variables, strings, numbers and booleans. And also I have discussed how to create objects, arrays in the JavaScript. And also I have discussed about the regular expressions in the JavaScript. In this chapter 3 JavaScript beginners course, we are going to see about the operators and the control statements. So we are going to look at the arithmetic operators with an example, then increment operator and decrement operator with syntax and an example. Next we are going to see logical operators with an example, and then conditional statements, that is if else, if statements in the JavaScript. And then we are going to discuss about the how to write single line if statement. Then we are going to look at the ternary operator in the JavaScript. Then we are going to see switch statement with an example. Then finally we are going to discuss about the typeof operator in the JavaScript with an examples. In this JavaScript tutorial we are going to see what are arithmetic operators in the JavaScript, and we are going to see increment operator and decrement operator in the JavaScript. So let's get started with the arithmetic operators in the JavaScript. So let's understand about the arithmetic operators. So arithmetic operators are the operators, and these operators are used to perform the mathematical operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, modulus. So like this we can perform many more mathematical operations by using the arithmetic operators. For example, so far you have created variables by using the var and a const. So this time we are going to create the variables by using the let followed by the variable name, and also we can assign the value like this. So previously we were creating the only one variable in a single line, but we are going to create a multiple variables in the single line. And we can add the two numbers by using the plus operator, and we can subtract two numbers by using the minus operator. And in the example 3, we are going to see how to multiply two numbers by using the asterisk. And in the example 4, we are going to see how to divide two numbers by using the division operator. And in the example 5, we are going to see how to modulus between the two numbers, how to find out the modulus of two numbers. And in the example 6, we are going to see how to add the two strings by using the plus operator, that is the addition operator. And finally we are going to see how to compare the two values by using the comparison operator, that is in the example 7. And let's look at the next topic, that is increment operator and decrement operator in the JavaScript. So we will see all these examples in the Visual Studio Code in couple of minutes. So let's understand about the increment operator and decrement operator in the JavaScript. So let's understand about the increment operator first. So increment operator is used to increase the variable value by 1. For example, let's consider we have the variable as count and it contains the 10 value. So if I use increment operator for this count variable, so count value will be increased to 1. If I used one time, the count will be increased by 1. So for example, if I used second time, the count value will become 12. So coming to the decrement operator. So exactly this is exactly opposite to the increment operator. For example, if you see the count value over here, so count value is 10, and if I use the decrement operator, the count value will become 9. So basically, decrement operator is used to decrease the variable value by 1. So let's look at the all these examples, arithmetic operator examples and increment and decrement operators examples in the JavaScript. So here I will open the VS Code now. So here I will create the two variables called let followed by that number 1, and then I will assign the value as 10, and I'll create another variable called number 2. So here I'll assign the value as 5. So here I'll print the value of number 1, and that contains the 10 value, and then I will print the value of number 2, and that contains the 5 value. So let's start with the adding two numbers. Then we will subtract two numbers, then multiply, and so on. So let's add the two numbers by using addition operator, number 1 and plus, here you can say number 2. So that's it. So if you look at the result here, that's output 15. So 10 plus 5, it's a 15. So that is the expected output. So let us subtract two numbers. So simply you can use the number 1 minus operator and number 2. And if you see the output over here, so 10 minus 5, it is a 5 is the output. So that's the expected output. So let's multiply number 1 and number 2. The output would be 50. 10 into 5, it's a 50, right? So let's multiply the two numbers now. So here I'll say asterisk symbol. And if you look at the output here, the output is 50. That is the expected output. So let's divide number 1 divide by number 2. So that can be done by using the one simple forward slash. So here we are dividing the number 1 slash, that's a division operator, and number 2. The output is 2 because 10 divided by 5, so it will be 2. So this is the correct output. So let us find out the modulus of two numbers. So by using the modulus operator, so here I'll say number 1 followed by that simply I'll add the modulus operator, and if you see here the output is 0 because there is no remainder, right? So like this you can perform all the mathematical operations by using the different operators. So far you have seen all the examples from the example 1 to the example 5. So let's look at the example 6, how to add two strings by using the addition operator. So here I'll create a simple two strings. Here I'll say var followed by I'll say word1 as welcome to. So that's it guys. In the word2 I will add, I'll say words equal to JavaScript tutorial. So that's it guys. So let me just rename the proper variable names. So it'll say first time. So I'll say word1 instead of words. I'll say word1. Then I will create. So basically here I'm recreating these two variables. As first one I'm creating the word1 that contains the welcome to, and in the word2 I'll add the JavaScript tutorial. So when I combine word1 and word2, so that will become the welcome to JavaScript tutorial. So that's it guys. So now how you can add these two strings by using the addition operator, right? So let's look at that one. So what you can do is simply you can use the variable name, that's a word1, plus you can use the word2. So if you look at the output here, so there is no space in between the 2 and JavaScript. So that space can be added by using our string. So here I'll say one space between the word1 and the word2. So basically here I'm adding the plus operator before our string, that is space, and after the string I'm adding another plus operator. Then I'm printing the output, and if you look at the output here, so word1 and O2 got merged, and we have the final string called welcome to JavaScript tutorial. So let's look at the example 7. How you can compare the two numbers. Let's say if you look at the output of modulus of two numbers. So let's execute one more time modulus of two numbers. So here let's say number 1, modulus number 2. The output is 0, guys. So let's compare the result of this particular modulus of two number. What I will do here is simply I will write the number 1 modulus number 2. Then here I'm writing equal operator. So here basically I'm comparing whether result of these two operation, this particular modulus operation is equal to 0 or not. I'm checking it here by using the comparison operator. So here I'll say semicolon, and if you look at the output here, the output is true, because when we are finding out the modulus of number 1 and number 2, the output is 0. That's the expected result, right? So this is returning us the true. So that is the expected output here. Let's say, for example, what I will do is number 1 is completely dividable by the number 2. That means 10 by 5. So remainder is 0. So that's the reason. So it is equal to the 0. So what I will do is here I will do the modulus. Here I'll take the first number 1 and I will use the modulus operator, and followed by that, so I will pass the different number this time and I'll say 0. So this time the output is false because 10 modulus 3 is not 0, right? So basically it is comparing this particular comparison operator. So this is how we can compare the result of any operations. Now let's look at next topic, that's increment and decrement operators in the JavaScript. So let's see the couple of examples for the increment operator and decrement operator in the JavaScript. So there are three ways, guys. So you can increment any particular variable value by using the any one of the three ways. So I will discuss all the three ways for incrementing the value of the variable by 1, and also you can decrement the value of the variable by 1. So here I'm creating a one variable called count equal to 0. So that's it. And if I print the count value, so that contains the 0 value, right? So let's see how to increment the variable value by 1 by using the increment operator. So let's discuss the first way. What we can do is simply we can write count equal to count plus 1. And if you see the output here, so if I print the count variable value, so it contains the 1. So this is the first way how you can increment the variable value by 1. So let's see the second way. So what you can do is simply you can write count plus equal to 1. So that's it. And if I print the value of the count, so that contains 2 this time. So initially it was 0. After incrementing the variable value, so it became 1. Then second time we are incrementing the value of the variable, then it became 2. So this is the second way. So let's look at the third way of incrementing the value of the variable in the JavaScript. So simply you can write variable, followed by that simply write the 2 addition operator, followed by that semicolon. And if I print the value of the count, that contains the 3 value, right? So these are the different 3 ways to increment the variable value by 1 in the JavaScript. So let's look at how you can decrement the variable value by 1 by using the decrement operator. So exactly decrement operator is exactly opposite to the increment operator, as I said earlier also. So what we can do is simply we can replace wherever plus is there, you need to replace that with the minus. So let's use our first approach. So simply here we have to add the minus. So right now count value is 3, and if I decrement it, it will become 2. So here I'll say count equal to count minus 1. and if I print the output of count, so this contains the 2. So first time we are decrementing the count variable value, and let's use the second approach, that's a count minus equal to 1. So here I'll say space, then followed by that 1. That's it. And if I print the output of count, so this contains the 1. And if you look at the first time, so first time it was the 3. Then first time we have decremented the count variable value, it became 2. And in the second time we are decrementing the count variable value, and the count value is now 1. So let's decrement the count variable value third time, then it will become the 0. So what you can do is simply count. So previously here we have used 2 plus operator. So this time I'm using the 2 minus operator. So that's it, guys. So if I print the output of count, so now it is back to the 0, right? Because 3 times we have incremented the value of the variable by 1 by using the increment operator, and then after that we have decremented the count variable value by using the decrement operator. So now the final value of the count is 0. So this is all I'm having for the increment operator and decrement operator in the JavaScript. In this JavaScript tutorial, we are going to see about the logical operators in the JavaScript. Let's get started. Logical operators are used to find out the logic between the two variables or two values. So there are two types of logical operators in JavaScript. First one is OR operator, and that is represented with two pipe symbol, and second operator is AND operator, and it is represented with the two ampersand symbols. Coming to the examples. So before we move on to the examples, if I tell about the OR operator in a single line, let's say we have written multiple statements or the conditions. If at least one condition returns true, the whole output will be true. And coming to the AND operator. So in this case, if we have written multiple conditions or statements, all the conditions must return the true as the outcome. Then the whole output will be true. So let's move on to the examples now. So here I have created color 1, color 2, and color 3. And in the first statement, just I'm comparing color 1 value is equal to the red or not. If it is equal to the red, it returns true as the outcome. And if it is not equal to the red, then it will return you the false as the value. So in our case, it is equal to the red. So that's the reason output is true here. So let's move on to the first example. In the first condition, so color 1 value is equal to the red. So yes, the output is true. And I'm using the OR operator. And I have written second condition. So here I'm checking color 2 value is equal to the blue or not. The outcome is true because color 2 is equal to the blue. The whole output is true here. Coming to the example 2. First condition returns true, but here second condition returns you the false because color 2 value is not equal to the test. So that's the reason outcome is true. And next example is example 3. So here first condition returns false and second condition also returns false. The whole output is false here, right? So let's move on to the AND operator. The first example, so basically here I'm passing the correct color 1 value and color 2 value. So that's the reason both the condition returns here true. So that's the reason whole output is true here. And coming to the example 2. So here first condition returns you the true as a value, but second condition doesn't returns you the true as a value. So that's the reason whole output is false here. And next example, that's example 3. And here both the condition returns false. The whole output is false here. And also you can write multiple operators. You can use in the sense you can use the multiple operators in the single statements. And if you look at here, example 4. So here I'm using the two statements, that means two condition, and in between there is a OR condition. So basically it computes this particular OR condition. So in the sense it will basically perform this evaluation first, whatever you have written inside the brackets, then outcome of this particular bracket condition, then it compares to the next another condition here, right? So in this case, whatever we have written inside the bracket, this output is true, and also color 3 value is equal to the green. So as we have used a ampersand, that is a 2 ampersand operator, that is nothing but the AND operator. So whole output is true here. Say for example, if I pass here some other value, if I replace green with the red, so in this case, one condition outcome is false. As we have used the ampersand, that's the AND operator, the whole output will become the false. So let's look at all these examples in the VS Code now. So here I'll create 3 variables. That's the color 1 is equal to, here I'll say red, and then I will create a color 2 equal to, here I'll say blue, and then I will create a color 3 as green. So that's it, guys. So let me print all the color 1 and color 2 and color 3, all the variable values over here. So color 1 contains red, and color 2 contains blue, and color 3 contains green as a value. So let's compare the very first color, that's a color 1 is equal to the red or not. We'll check it. So here I'll say color 1 is equal to the red. So output will be true because color 1 value is equal to the red. So if you pass some other value, the output will become false as the output. So now let's use the OR operator. So let's compare color 1 and the color 2 by using the OR operator. So first we will give the appropriate values. So here I'll say 2 pipe symbol, then here I'll write color 2 is equal to the blue. So this time the output will be true because color 1 value is equal to the red and color 2 value is equal to the blue here. If you look at our variable values, color 1 value is red and color 2 value is blue. So this time what I will do is color 2 value I will pass the some different value. Let's say here I'll say just ABC. So this time it returns the true. So that's the expected output because in the OR condition, if at least any one of the condition outcome is true, the whole output will become true. So in this case, first condition outcome is true. So that's the reason output is true. Now this time we will pass the incorrect color 1 and incorrect color 2 as well. So here I'll say XYZ. And if you look at the output over here, the output is false because none of the conditions are returning true as the outcome. So that's all about the OR operator in the JavaScript. Now let's see some examples for the AND operator in the JavaScript. So what I will do is simply I'll say here AND operator instead of OR. So this time we will pass the correct values in the while comparing the color 1. So here I'll say color 1 as red and color 2 as blue. And if you see the output over here, it is true because color 1 value is equal to the red and color 2 value is equal to the blue, right? So in the AND operation, so all the condition should return always true. Then only the whole output will become true. So this time we will pass the color 1 is equal to the red and we will pass the incorrect value over here. So we'll compare the value and that does not contains the color 2 value. So here I'll say some characters as ABC, and if you see the output here, the whole output is false because the first condition outcome is true and second condition outcome is false. So in this case we are using the AND operation, that's the AND operator, the whole output will become false. So that's the expected result. Now this time I will add the color 1 value is also some different value. Here I'll say XYZ. If you look at the output over here, the output is false. So that's the expected output, guys. And also you can use the combination of or operator and also and operator. So let's see how to use the or operator and operator in the single statement. If you see the example 4 here, so here basically we are comparing the color 1 and color 2 by using the or operation, and this particular whole statement returns you the true, and also our second statement outcome, that's the second condition outcome, is also true. So that's the reason whole output is true here. So let's execute this particular commands in the VS Code. So here I'll say color 1. So before that I will add the brackets, and here I'll say color 1 is equal to red or not, and so in the color 2 I will verify whether color 2 value is equal to the blue or not. Then I will add the close bracket, and then I will also add the or operator. And if you look at the output over here, so it is already returns true as the outcome. Basically, so color 1 value is red and also color 2 value is blue. So that is correct, right? So that should return true as outcome. Now here I'll write ampersand, that's the and operator, and then I will write the color 3 value is equal to the green or not. And if you see the output over here, the output is true, because as we are using the and operator, so basically it checks outcome of second condition and outcome of first condition. So in this case both the outcomes returns the true as the output, so whole output is true here. So this is all I'm having for the logical operators in the JavaScript. In this JavaScript tutorial we are going to see conditional statements, that is if condition, if else, if keywords. So let's look at the if statement, how you can write the if conditions in the JavaScript. So basically you need to start with the if keyword, followed by that inside the brackets you need to write the condition. If this particular condition returns you the true as a value, that's the outcome, so this particular code block will be executing. Otherwise, if this condition is returning you the false as the outcome, then it will never execute this particular code block. So that's all about the if condition. Let's move on to the if else keywords now. So once again I'm using the if condition, and followed by that I'm adding the else keyword, and I'm writing the another code block here. So if this particular condition is returning you the false, then it will comes to the else part and it will execute all the code whatever you have written inside the else block. If this condition outcome is true, then it will execute this particular code block within the if condition. So that's all about the if statement, if else statement. So let's move on to the third statement, that is the if else if statement. So here I have written the if statement. If this condition is condition 1 returns you the true, then it will execute this code block. Let's say condition 1 is returns you the false, then it comes to the else block. Again there is another condition 2, so this condition it will check. If this condition returns you the false as the outcome, in that case it goes to the else block again, and it will execute whatever you have written inside the else block. If this condition 2 is returning you the true value, then it will execute all the code block whatever you have written inside the if condition. So like this you can write n number of if and else and if conditions inside the JavaScript. Now let's look at the examples. So far you have seen all the examples in the terminal. So now let's look at conditional statement examples in the browser console. So here I will bring up one simple pop-up where we can click on the button. So here I'll say press a button. So that's it. So this pop-up gives you two buttons. One is OK and second one is cancel. So if you press OK, the output will be true. And if I press cancel, the output will be false here. So as I said, we will be using if condition, so if keyword, and inside that we are adding the condition. Based on the condition outcome, code will be your code will be getting executed, right? So let's look at the if statement first. So here I'll say if, and inside if simply I will pass this particular statement. So this is going to return us the true or false value based on the user input. So here I'll say console dot log, and I will print the message as pressed. Let's say you pressed OK. So that's it, guys. So I'll come to the next line and I will close it. And if you see here, so I have executed this particular statement. So this now it is displaying you the pop-up. Now you can click on the OK. If you click on OK, it goes inside the if condition and it will execute all the code whatever you have written inside the if condition. So I pressed OK, and if you see here, so it is got this particular console.log got executed and it is printing you the you pressed OK. Now this time I will press cancel, and if I press cancel, it will never go inside the if condition. And if you see the output here, the output is nothing. So no statements are executed this time. So this is an example for the if condition in the JavaScript. So let's look at the if else statements in the JavaScript. So here I'll say I will use the same statements, and after that, so as I said, to write the if else conditions, we need to use the first if condition. So if keyword followed by that condition. So inside that if you can write a number of n number of lines code, you can write it inside the if condition, sorry. So then you can simply say else, and followed by that you can open the curly brace, and here you can write whatever the code you want it. So in my case I'm simply writing console.log console.log, and simply I will add the message as you pressed cancel. So that's it. Now I will close the else block here. So that's it. Now, so if I press OK, and the output will be you pressed OK. So if block will be getting executed. If I press cancel, it goes to the else block, and whatever the code you have written inside the else block, that code will be getting executed. So this time let's pass the OK, and now it is executed the if condition inside the if, it went inside the if condition. So let's say once again I will execute the same statement. So this time let's press the cancel, and it executes only the else block because our condition is false here. So if you look at here, it is executed the else block and it is printing you the you pressed cancel. So this is how you can write the if else statements in the JavaScript. Now let's look at the example for the if else if statements. So what I will do here, simply I will use the same condition. On top of that, after the if, so here I'm using the if, then followed by that else keyword, and here we have to write the another if in case you are adding the multiple if statements. So here I'll say if, and again we have to write the condition here. So in my case, simply I will pass the true. That's it. So what happens is, let me execute this particular statement. So whenever I'm pressing cancel, so it goes to the else block. So in this else block, again I have written another if condition. So here I'm not writing any conditions here. Simply I'm directly passing the true value. So if I pass the true value, directly it will go inside the another second if condition and it will execute all the statements. So if I press cancel, so it is going inside the another if condition and it is checking this particular condition. So here I'm hard coding the condition outcome as the true, and then it is going inside another if condition, that's a second if condition, and it is going to execute whatever I have written inside the second if condition, and it is printing you the you pressed cancel. So like this you can write n number of if, else and if conditions in the JavaScript. In this JavaScript tutorial, we are going to see switch statement in the JavaScript. So you might be having a question when we will be using the switch statement or switch case in the JavaScript. So when we are having multiple conditions, so based on the conditions you want to execute the block of code, then we will be using the switch case in the JavaScript. So this is the syntax. You need to write the switch keyword, followed by that inside the brackets you need to specify the any expression or the value. So based on the expression or the value, so it calculates and it will goes to the respective case. For example, so let's assume now the value is 1. It goes to this particular case 1 and it will execute all the code over here, and then it will come out of the this particular switch statement. And next time let's assume value is 2 here, and in this case it goes to the only case 2 and it will execute all the code, and simply it will comes out of this particular switch statement, and so on. So based on the expression or the value, it goes to the respective case and it will execute that particular case block of code, and it will come out of the switch statement. So like this you can implement n number of cases while writing the switch statement in the JavaScript. So for example, there might be cases after the expression whenever some evaluation happens. So that value is not matching with any of the switch cases. Then it will execute the default code, whatever you have written inside the default. Now let's look at the example now. So here I will simply create one variable called let skill, and that's it. So we will assign later value to this particular variable. And now let's create a one switch statement. So here I will write switch, and inside this simply I will pass the skill. So that's it. And here I will open the curly brace, and followed by that, so simply I will write the one case, and in the double quotes, so simply I will specify the skill as first. I will specify the skill as JavaScript, and for this one, after writing the colon, simply I will print one console dot log message. So here I'll say just welcome to JavaScript. So that's it, guys. Then I will add the break statement. So like this, I will add the another few cases. So here I'll say case second as, here I'll say just Python, and then I will say colon. And in the similar way, I will write the console dot log, and I will print the message as welcome to Python. So that's it. Then I will add the break statement. In the similar way, I will add another case called Java. So here I'll say Java and colon, and then I will print it by using the console dot log. Here I'll say message as welcome to Java. Then I will write the break. So whenever it executes particular block of code, that's a case. So simply come out of that particular case. Say for example, let's say now the skill is Java. So simply it will come to this particular case and it will execute all the code, and then it comes out of this particular whole switch case. So now we have written the Java case. Now here I'll write the last switch case as default. So here I'll say default, and followed by that simply you can specify the colon, and followed by that let's print some message over here. So here I'll say console.log as, here I'll print the message as skill not found. So whenever you are passing the invalid skill here, which is not there inside this particular switch cases. So right now we are having only 3 cases. If you pass JavaScript, it will execute this particular block of code, and if you pass skill as Python, it will execute this particular block of code. And if you pass Java, it will execute this particular line of code and it will come out of this particular switch statement. Now let's add the default case. Then we will execute this particular JavaScript code. So here I'll say skill not found. So that's it, guys. Now then I will add the break statement. Then I will close the entire switch block here. So that's it, guys. Now we have not assigned anything to this particular skill, and if you look at the output here, so directly it went to the default block and it is executing this all the code. So in our case, simply we are printing it as skill not found. So now let's assign first Python. So this particular block of code has to be executed. So here I'll assign skill variable value as Python. So that's it. Now let's execute the switch statement. And if you see the output over here, so it is printing welcome to Python. So whatever the code we have written inside the Python case, that code block is getting executed. Now let's assign the skill value as JavaScript this time. So now this time it has to print welcome to JavaScript. So simply I will assign the skill variable value as JavaScript. So that's it. Now let's execute the switch statement. And if you see the output over here, it is printing welcome to JavaScript. So this is how you can implement the switch statements in the JavaScript. In this JavaScript tutorial, we are going to see how to write one-line if statement in the JavaScript, and then we are going to discuss about the ternary operator in the JavaScript. Let's get started with the one-line if condition in the JavaScript. So if you look at the syntax here, you need to start with the if keyword, followed by that you need to add the condition, and followed by that you need to write the code. So if this condition outcome is true, then it will execute this particular code, and if this condition outcome is false, it will never execute this particular code. So let's look at the example for writing the one line if condition statement in the JavaScript. So simply I will here bring up one pop-up. So based on the user action, the output will be displayed over here. So here I'll say just confirm. So let me type it once again. So inside the confirm, I will say one message as press a button. So that's it, guys. So if I hit enter, so this will brings me the one pop-up. If I click on OK, it will returns the true as the value. And if I click on the cancel button, the output will be, so now I'm clicking on cancel, the output will be false, right? So if you look at this particular one line if condition in the JavaScript, just you have to write the if followed by the condition. So already we have the condition. So this particular condition returns you the true or false result based on the user action. So here I'll write if followed by that. Simply I will copy this particular statement and I will add it inside the if, and followed by that simply we have to write the code here. So here I'll say console dot log, and I will write the one message inside that is called you pressed OK. So that's it, guys. Now I will execute this particular JavaScript statement, and that brings you the pop-up. First we have to input something here. So now I will click on the OK. If I click on this OK, the outcome of this particular condition is true, then only it will execute this particular console.log statement. And if you see the output here, the output is you pressed OK. So it went inside the if condition. Now let's execute one more time the same JavaScript statement. And now this time I will click on cancel. And if you look at the output, so it is not executed the console.log. It did not print the you pressed OK, because based on the condition outcome, If it is true, then only it will execute the rest of the code here. So that's all about the one line if statement in the JavaScript. Let's move on to the next topic called ternary operator in the JavaScript. So it is an alternative for the if else statement in the JavaScript. So coming to the syntax side, so first you need to write the condition. So that will returns you the boolean value. It can be true or false, and followed by that you need to specify the question mark symbol, and after that here we have to write the code. So if this particular condition is returning you the true, then it will execute this particular code. That's before the colon. And if this condition outcome is false, then it will execute the after the colon code here. So let's look at the some examples for the ternary operator in the JavaScript. So once again I will take the same example. So if we execute this particular confirm and followed by the message, so that will brings you the one pop-up. So based on that we are going to act upon the statements here. So if I execute once again JavaScript statement, so this will brings me the pop-up here, right? So what I will do is simply I will click OK. So I will use the once again same statement. Firstly, we have to write the condition. So this particular condition I'm writing it here. So this will returns you the true or false based on the user action. If you look at the syntax also, first we have to write the condition, then followed by the code. So this code will be executed if this condition outcome is true. So that's the reason. Here I'll write one console dot log. Then I will print the message as you pressed OK. That's it, guys. Now I will use the colon. Then I will add another statement. So this particular statement will be executed only when this particular first condition is returning you the false as the value. Let's say console dot log. So simply I will print the one message called you pressed cancel. So that's it, guys. Now I will execute this particular JavaScript statement. So based on the user input, it is going to act upon. If you see here, we got the pop-up. If I say OK, it is going to print this particular you pressed OK. That's the very first statement. And if I press cancel, it is going to execute the our next statement, that is after the colon. So let's execute the by pressing the OK this time. And if you see here, so it is printing the output as you pressed OK. So once again I will execute the same statement, Java statement. So this time we are going to press cancel. If I press cancel, so it is going to execute you pressed cancel. And if you see the output over here, so it is printing the you pressed cancel. So based on the condition outcome, it is going to execute the JavaScript statements. So this is how we can implement the ternary operator in the JavaScript. So this particular ternary operator is used in most of the times in the JavaScript programming, guys. In this JavaScript tutorial, we are going to see typeof operator in the JavaScript. Typeof operator is used to find out the what type of value is stored in the variable. For example, we will be creating all the variables by using the let, var, and const. So most of the times we are not sure about the type of data is stored in the variable. So that can be find out by using the typeof operator. So syntax is like this: typeof keyword followed by the variable name. In the example 1, we are going to create all the different types of variables and respective value we are going to assign it, and then we will find out what type of data is stored in the particular variable. And in the example 2, how you can use the typeof operator with the if condition. And also we are going to see the example 3 where we are checking the whether, let's say for example in this if condition we are checking whether variable is a string or not. If variable value is a string, then we are finding out whether that particular string contains the substring or not. Based on that you can perform some other operations. So let's look at the very first example. That's we will be creating all the different variables, and also we are assigning the different all these type of variables. And in the example 1, we are going to create all the different variables and also we are assigning the different all these type of variables. And in the example 2, we are going to create all the different variables and also we are assigning the different all these type of variables. And also we are assigning the values in the JavaScript. Now I will open the VS Code. So let's look at all the examples in the VS Code. Here what I have done is simply I have created one folder in my local machine, and I have opened it by going to the file, and here I clicked on the open folder. So simply you can create a empty folder and you can select that particular folder after clicking on the open folder. And once you create a folder, so you will get the empty folder like this, and you will get the first two icons. If you see the two icons, first one is for the creating the file and second one is for the creating a folder. So firstly I have created another folder called chapter3. Under that I have created one file which is ending with the .js. Simply I will open this file, and here I'm creating the one variable called word. So in this word, so I will assign the string as the value. So here I'll say welcome to JavaScript course. So that's it, guys. We have created a string variable. So let us check the what type of value is holding this particular word variable. So by using the typeof operator in the JavaScript. So here I'll say console.log, and simply I will use the typeof and followed by the variable name. So that's it, guys. Now I will execute this JavaScript program by going to the run, and here I will choose the second option, run without debugging. So that's it, guys. And if you look at the debug console output, so it is printing the string. So it is saying this particular word is a word contains the string type of data. So let's create another variable here. Now this time we are going to create a variable called number1, and simply I will assign some random numbers here. Now let's check the type of data is holding this particular variable. So here I'll say console.log once again, and I will use the typeof operator and followed by the variable name. So simply I will add the number1 here. So this particular variable is holding the numeric value, and the output will be printing as the number because it is holding the some number. So let's run this JavaScript program, and if you see the output here, firstly it is printing the string, and second time it is printing the number. So like this we can create another two variables. So here I'm creating one boolean variable, so where I'm assigning the boolean value. So is button clicked. So some random names I'm giving it here. So here I can assign true or false. And similarly I'm creating one empty object, and here I'll say just open brace, curly brace, and I will close the curly brace here. So that's it, guys. So however we have done it for the string variable and the number variable. So let's do it for the boolean variable and the empty object variable. So simply I'll pass the variable name over here. So we are going to check the what type of data is stored in the is button clicked variable, and similarly let's check it for the empty object. So I will pass the empty object variable name over here. So if you look at the line number 8, so this particular type of operator is checking is button clicked. This particular variable is holding what type of data? So it is a boolean type of data. Simply it will prints you the boolean. And coming to the line number 11, so this is our object, right, guys? So simply it prints the object as the output. Let's run this particular JavaScript program. And if you see the output over here, the first variable type is string, and second variable type is number, and third one is boolean, and fourth one is object. So this is how we can check what type of data is stored in the variables. Now let's look at our example 2. So by using the if condition, how you can perform some operations. So here I'll use simply if, and inside this one here I'll say typeof. So we are going to take our word variable. So this word contains the one string, that is welcome to JavaScript course. So simply I'll take this word. So basically I'm checking the first type of word is equal to the string or not. If it is a string, if variable is a string, simply I want to print the substring of this particular main string. So simply I will print this welcome. So here I'll say word dot. So before word dot, I'll say log. I want to use the console.log. So let's print by using the console.log. So here I'll say word dot, and then I will say the substring. So here we have to specify the starting and ending index. So I'll start with the 0 and then I'll put ending index as 7. That's it, guys. Now let's execute this program once again. And if you see the output here, last output, it is printing the welcome. If word is not equal to the string, then it will never go inside this particular if statement and it will never execute the statements you have written inside the if condition. Let's say, let's pass the boolean this time. So it won't execute this particular if condition because this word is not equal to the boolean value, right? So let's run the program. And if you see the output here, so it is not printing the any substring over here. So this is the example 2. So let's look at the example 3. So here we will be using the if condition, and also we'll be checking the whether this particular word has the substring or not. So simply I'll copy the same string and I'll paste it here. So firstly we are checking the word is equal to the string or not. So yes, it is a string. Then we are writing another condition over here. So I'm checking this word variable is contains the JavaScript or not. So simply I will use the word dot. You can check whether that word is having the particular word or not by using the includes method. So inside the includes method, you can simply pass the value. So I want to check word contains JavaScript or not. So here I'll pass JavaScript. So that's it, guys. So simply I will bring this another condition down over here simply for the better visibility. Let me summarize what we have done in this second if condition. So firstly, we are checking word value type is equal to the string or not. And secondly, we are checking word contains JavaScript or not. Then we are going to print a message called string has a substring. So that's it, guys. Let's run the JavaScript program. Now this time it is going to print the string has a substring because this particular word contains the JavaScript. So that's the reason it is going inside the if condition. So let's pass here some other value. Let's say simply I'll pass test. So this time this particular condition is not matching with the word, right? So our word doesn't contains the test as the word. So that's the reason this if condition will fail. So that's the reason it will not go inside the if condition and it will never print the string has the substring. Let's run the JavaScript program. And if you look at the output, so it is not printing the string has a substring. So this is all I'm having for the type of operator in the JavaScript.